Testing. Okay. Uh, Hello everyone. Today we're going to continue our topic on the rural life of Hong Kong. Okay, so this is S1 history lesson. So therefore, please prepare your textbook. Okay, the unit, it should be section. Okay, like 21 or maybe 22, I forget. Okay, so it should be about the traditional rural life of Hong Kong. Okay, last time I have already introduced like what are the life of the Hong Kong people in the prehistoric and historic time. So therefore, today I'm going to introduce like what could be some specific example of the life of the Hong Kong people in the past. So let's start. Okay, so with your textbook, okay. So last time we have already finished this page. Okay, then this time we're going to the next part. For this part, we're going to talk about like what are the major industry? What are the major industry? Okay, so in the history of Hong Kong, like from the Qin Dynasty to the Qing Dynasty. So we're going to talk about like what what dynasty and also what activities, okay, like were famous in the history of Hong Kong. So you may prepare your textbook like this, but right now, for better understanding, okay, so I'm going to draw a table, okay, for you. So therefore, okay, please keep your textbook, okay, on the page, and okay, I'm going to draw a new table for you. Okay, so what would be that table? Okay, as we're going to if as we want to have a better understanding, okay, so on the activities like in Hong Kong, so we're going to talk about like the dynasty, okay, like the what kind of activities, and also this is very important, okay, we need to identify what are the aspects Okay, what are the aspects we can divide, we can identify, okay, for the following activities? Okay, first, number one, okay, the activities number one, you can see that it should be in the Qin and Han Dynasty. Qin and Han Dynasty. It means in Chinese, 秦朝啦, and also 汉朝, and also 汉朝. Okay, so what activities were found in the Qin Dynasty? Okay, so the first one, especially like what we have learned in the previous lessons. Okay, so we mentioned that Qing Dynasty, actually that would be like the start, okay, of the historic time of Hong Kong. If you go back to the previous page, okay, you can see that, you can see that. So the prehistoric times of Hong Kong end in 214 BC. Okay, historic time end. Okay, you have to say prehistoric time. And okay, and in 214 BC. So therefore, from the activities, or no, from the record, like from the Qing Dynasty, actually, we can know that there's some activities like in Hong Kong, or especially in the kingdom. Okay, in the kingdom. Last time I have mentioned, okay, in the kingdom of Nanyu, 南越國啦，Nanyu. So at that time, actually, we know that from some document, from some writings, so that would be some official that would be responsible for the trading of salt, of the trading of salt. Therefore, so we can know that during especially like the Qing Dynasty, okay, so the salt making industry, the salt making industry. Actually, it has been started in Hong Kong already. Okay, in Hong Kong already. So that could be like the making of salt to supply it, okay, to other places. Why? It is because for the location of Hong Kong, Hong Kong is a coastal area, okay, so that is next to the sea. So therefore, that would be easy, okay, for the people to make salt, okay. As you should know that salt, it is important for the daily life of the people. So therefore, from the Qing Dynasty, we can know that. So there will be the salt industry in Hong Kong. Okay, so therefore, for the first activities, so which aspect, okay, should it refer to? So this is related to the economic aspect. It is related to economic aspect. It is because like salt making industry, it is kind of economic activity. Okay, it is a kind of economic activity. So therefore, in the Qing Dynasty, we know that salt making industry, it is related to economic aspect. So therefore, that would be the first one. However, you may ask me, then where would be the site of the salt making industry? I may say it, as that would be long time ago. So therefore, I'm not quite sure. But it should be in the coastal area. Why? It is because like salt making, it must be okay near the sea, that use the sea water. So therefore, there must be the coast. Okay. So therefore, that would be the first one, Qin Dynasty. And then for the Han Dynasty, what happened in the Han Dynasty? Okay, so during the Han Dynasty, so that is also okay. So the salt industry that is furnished in Hong Kong, okay, salt industry that is furnished in Hong Kong, and we can also okay, to make use of the artifact, to make use of the monument, that is the hanged tomb, okay. So in Li Chang Oak, in Li Chang Oak. So therefore, we can conclude that there will be some people that lived in Hong Kong, that settled in Hong Kong, even they set up the hang tomb. So therefore, that is what we can observe, like the activities. Okay, so in the Han Dynasty. So for the hang tomb, this one. Okay, so this is also related to the social aspect. It is because we can note like what would be the life of the people during that time. So therefore, that would be for the first one, okay, for the first one, number one, during the Qin and Han Dynasty. Okay, then we go to number two. We go to number two. Number two. The dynasty that would be in Qin and Southern and Northern Dynasty. So what's that in Chinese? Okay, you should know that Jin, it means like 晉朝啦。Okay, 晉朝啦。After the Eastern Han, okay, then Qin Dynasty, 晉朝啦。And also Southern and Northern Dynasty, that would be what we call in Chinese like 南北朝啦。So what happened during the Qin and Southern and Northern Dynasty? So again, so with some document, okay, in your textbook you can see that the Gazette of Xin'an County, okay, 新安縣志啦. So from this like written source, we can know that during this period, Buddhist monk, okay, 有個僧人啦, okay, so named 佩圖, okay, 杯道啦. In Chinese they called 杯道禪師啦. Actually, okay, like built the temple, no, that lived in Tuen Mun, okay, just lived in Tuen Mun. And then later, people built the Puto temple, okay, to remember him. So therefore, we got a Puto temple, okay, in Tuen Mun just for these activities, okay. So we know that in the past during the Qin and Southern Northern Dynasty, so Buddhist monk, okay, 一個嘅僧人啦 that lived in Tuen Mun. So therefore, that is what we note during that time. So therefore, which aspect that would be related to this event? So that would be religious aspect, okay, religious aspect. And I would say that's it. So at least we know that during this period, okay, so a Buddhist monk, okay, settled in Tuen Mun or lived in Tuen Mun. Okay, so therefore that would be number three. Okay, then number three, during the Sui and Tang Dynasty. Okay, Sui Dynasty, in Chinese it means 隋朝啦，and also Tang Dynasty, 唐朝啦. Okay, so for 唐朝, actually we note more about like the place of Hong Kong. Why? It is because I hope you still remember when we mentioned like the for the name of Hong Kong, okay, where or when that's the name of Hong Kong first mentioned in the document, or this place was first mentioned in the document. So I hope you still remember the book, okay, the New History of the Tang Dynasty. Actually, okay, so this place actually that is mentioned And what would be the most significant uh, event or activities, okay, so that proved or that shows like the activities in Hong Kong? So that would be especially during the Tang Dynasty, okay. So 2000 soldier 2000 soldier actually has been stationed, okay, in Tuen Mun. Tuen Mun. Why Tuen Mun? It is because if you look at the map, Tuen Mun, that is a very important place, okay. If we look at the map, like here, okay, where is Tuen Mun? Tuen Mun is, it should be this place. Okay, let me enlarge this like that. Okay, you can see Tuen Mun, that will be this place. That is what we know for Tuen Mun. Then why Tuen Mun it is important? It is because like the rest of Tuen Mun, so that is already the river mouth, okay, of Zhujiang. If we, okay, zoom out, okay, if we zoom out like this, okay, you should know that, okay, here it should be the Tuen Mun, and there will be the river mouth of Zhujiang. So therefore, during the Tang Dynasty, they have to station some soldier in this, that is to protect the river mouth of this. It is because if, okay, so the ship that enter the river mouth, it can reach to the large city such as like Guangzhou. So therefore, okay, so at the river mouth, it is not necessary for the government to station, okay, to station some soldiers there to protect those area. So therefore, from the document, okay, from the document before, we know that during the Tang Dynasty, okay, so soldiers were stationed in Tuen Mun, and what aspect that would be related to these activities? Of course, it would be the military aspect. Okay, it is because it is related to like the national defense. It is related to like the soldier. And then besides like the military aspect, so is there any more information? Okay, we know about like Hong Kong during the Sui and also Tang Dynasty. Of course, yes. Okay, so during that time in Hong Kong, so the pottery industry, it is also famous. Pottery. Okay, the pottery industry. So that would be another important activities in Hong Kong. So for pottery industry, so for the making pottery, okay, we can know that that is related to, like to the cultural aspect, related to like the cultural aspect. Okay, so therefore that would be number three, and then the next one, number four, number four, that would be like the five dynasty and 10 kingdoms. Okay, five dynasty and 10 kingdoms. In Chinese, that would be simple. So in Chinese, we can call it 五代十國啦. So after the Tang Dynasty, 五代十國. Okay, so during the five dynasty and ten kingdom periods. Okay, so what activities has been seen like in Hong Kong? So from your textbook, or I would say that is also important. Okay, so in your textbook, it mentioned that that would be the rise of the pearl diving industry. Okay, for these activities, we can see that that would be from the Gazeta of the Guang Dongguan County. Okay, 东莞縣治啦. Okay, so you may mark, okay, so the activities, that is what we call the pearl diving industry. Okay, so what is pearl diving industry? Actually, uh, in Chinese that is called like 一啲嘅採珠業啦，採珠珠，so it means like 珍珠啦，珍珠珠。Okay, so where do we get the like the pearl? Actually, that would be from the shell. Okay, from the shell. 一啲嘅貝殼入邊啦。OK，我哋叫養豬啦。咁呢啲係養珍珠嘅。So in Hong Kong, which place actually that would be famous, okay, for the pearl diving industry, for the pearl diving operation, that would be in Tai Po. Thai port. Or you should know that, like in Thai port, so that is a very important place. That would be the To Lo Harbor. Okay, so you may have a look. Where is To Lo Harbor? If I zoom in the case, actually, here, here. Okay, all this region actually that would be Tolo Harbor, and it was famous for the pearl diving industry. Okay, you can see in your textbook it mentioned 太埔市大埔海啦。咁邊度係大埔海呢？ Actually, that would be this Tolo Harbor was even called the 美珠 Lake 美珠湖啦，美珠池。Okay, so that is especially important for the pearl diving industry. But right now, okay, Tolo Harbor. Do we have any pearl diving industry in Tolo Harbor right now? Of course, no. Okay, so actually, this industry has been declined for a long time already. But right now, okay, in the future, I may show you some information. But right now, there's still some Hong Kong people. They still operate that kind of pearl diving industry, but not in the Tolo Harbor. Not in Tolo Harbor. Okay, so therefore, after the pearl diving industry, yes. So which aspect that is related to these activities? Of course, that is related to economic aspects. Why? It is because pearl diving industry that is also a kind of economic activities. So therefore, economic aspect. Okay, then number five. Number five. Number five. Number five. That would be in the Song and Yun Dynasty. Okay. Song and Yun Dynasty. From this period, actually, we can talk more about this. First, Song Dynasty. Spell it wrong. No, it out. Song Dynasty. Song 朝啦。Yun Dynasty. 元朝啦。Okay. So, what would be the activities during these two or this period? Okay, the first one, it mentioned that. Okay, so that would be about the major clans moving southward. Okay, the five great clans of the traditional rural Hong Kong. Actually, they settled in the new territories. Okay, so they escaped from mainland China, then settled in Hong Kong. That is especially start from the Song Dynasty. For their story, okay, I will talk about it later. So therefore, that would be the first one, and then the second one. So that would be at the Southern Song Dynasty, 南宋嘅時期啦。That is almost the end of Song Dynasty. So we know that the Song Emperor, okay, the Song Emperor that escaped, okay, to Hong Kong, that fled to Hong Kong, okay, and later, people, in order to memorize those Song Emperor, okay, so they named the place Song Wang Tai啦. Why? It is because it is mention that, okay, like the rock actually has been set by the emperor, okay. So therefore people name it Song Wang Tai. So that would be like this. So therefore this one, okay, you may also refer to the your Chinese history story, okay. So therefore Song Dynasty and also Yun Dynasty. But I would say there's still more. There's still more. Okay, there's still more. So that is not mentioned in your textbook. That is not mentioned in your textbook. That is from the recent findings. Okay, we know that during the Song Dynasty or in Hong Kong, okay, what artifacts has been found that is related to like the Song Dynasty? Okay, I hope you still remember in To Kwa Rent, okay, To Kwa Wan. So that is for the building of the express, not express, the Sha Tin and Central express line, Sha Zhong Xin. So actually, an ancient well has been discovered 一個宋代嘅古井啦。So therefore, we can know that. So there could be like some settlement, okay, settlement in To Kwa Wan or in Kowloon City that is also related to like Song Dynasty, and we should know that that would be like a lot of daily living in this place. Okay, so therefore that is also what we note related to like the Hong Kong history in Song Dynasty. So therefore all these activities, okay, which aspect that would be related to that? So first, for the five great clans that moved to new territories, it should be related to like the social aspect, and then for the emperor that escaped from mainland China to Hong Kong, okay, you may say this is related to the political aspect, or you may also mention this is related to the like the historic code. And then for the ancient wealth in To Kwa Wan, you may also say that is also related to social aspect. And together with the ancient wealth, we may also say that as that is that could be supported by some document. So the salt industry in Hong Kong, it was also furnished, okay, during the Song Dynasty. So therefore, economic aspect. Okay, so we can relate it to. So therefore, that would be number five. Okay, number five. And then number six. Number six. We move to the Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty. That would be 明朝啦。Okay, 明朝啦. So what would be important for Ming Dynasty, like in Hong Kong? Okay, so that is similar to what we have mentioned. So for Ming Dynasty, okay, so Hong Kong was famous for the pottery industry. Okay, pottery industry. Okay, and you can also see that in your textbook it mentioned that remains of cleans. Okay, remains of cleans. Cleans in Chinese we may call it 一啲嘅窯啦。So that would be used to produce some green pottery, okay, in Taibo and also in Penny Spade. Penny Spade, Penny Spade. What was Chinese of Penny Spade? Penny Spade. If I remember correct, it should be similar to like Yan, uh, close to Yan or something like that in Lantau Island. Okay, so some remains of making of pottery has been found. So therefore, we know that like pottery industry was especially furnished in the Ming Dynasty. For the pottery industry, okay, so you may say that could be related to like the cultural cultural aspect. Okay, and then okay, so the last one after Ming Dynasty. Okay, we move to the early Qin Dynasty. Qin Dynasty. Qin Dynasty, 清朝啦. Finally, we move back to 清朝. Okay, so what happened in the Qin Dynasty? First, you should know that, okay, in your textbook, it mentioned a term, great clearance. Great clearance. What is great clearance? In your textbook, you can see the Chinese term for great clearance. Great clearance in Chinese we call 清界令. Okay, so what is 清界令? If you look at the paragraph in the textbook, it mentioned that Hong Kong people were once forced to move inland, and their way of life was greatly affected. Great clearance. It means that the resident, okay, in the coastal area, okay, they were forced to move to inland. They were forced to move to inland. So this measures or this policy that is called great clearance. So why there will be the great clearance? This is because at the early period, okay, of the Qin Dynasty, you should know that, okay. So there's a general from Ming Dynasty, if I remember correct, it should be like 鄭成功啦, okay, 鄭成功. That is almost the end, okay. The fall of Ming Dynasty, 鄭成功actually he went to, or he settled like in Taiwan, okay. So and there will be still of wars, okay, between the Ming and Qing Dynasty. So the Qing government, in order to stop, okay, in order to cut all the support, okay, from Taiwan, okay, from 鄭成功, from those people, from those people. So therefore, the Qing Dynasty order all residents actually they need to shift or they need to move inland to settle in order to cut all the support. So therefore, there would be the great clearance. 咁所以就有呢個嘅遷界令. However, after that, in in Hong Kong, in the new territories, okay, so two persons, okay, so they petition, you can see they petition the government, okay, to cancel, to abolish this policy. 佢有兩個人啊，去請願啦，就要求政府去到取消呢個嘅政策啦，或者呢個限令啦，okay. So these two person, okay, so they were 曹有德、周有德啦，and also, okay, 黃來任啦，okay. So therefore, after these two person, they petitioned the government to abolish this policy. So the people, okay, so build a study hall to remember them. It is because that will be important, okay, for the people to move back to Hong Kong, to move back to the original place to settle, to live, okay. So therefore, they built this 周王义空 study hall. Okay, in Chinese, 周王義公書院啦. Okay, so that is to remember these two persons for petition the government to abolish the great clearance. So therefore, that would be about like the story. And okay, what aspect that could be related to this? That could be related to like, okay, the political aspect, and also you may say that is also related to like some historical events or as that really happened like in the history, okay. So that is about the whole story, the whole activities, how the two persons petitioned to government. So therefore that would be about the seventh period, okay, from Qin Dynasty to Qing Dynasty. Okay, so therefore, please pay attention. Okay. So therefore, after this, right now, we're going to talk about like the dialect group. Okay. So in Hong Kong. So after this, okay, so we're going to talk about the major dialect group and clans in Hong Kong. For the case in Hong Kong, so you should know that there would be like four major dialect groups, okay? And these four major dialect groups, so they are, please highlight, they are Cantonese, Hakka, Folklore, and also Tanka. They were the four major dialect groups in Hong Kong, okay? So in Chinese, so what are they? Cantonese, you may also understand them as Punty. Punty. In Chinese, 本地啦，本地人啦，OK， 本地。For for Hakka， 客家人啦。Footloose, in Chinese we may call it 福佬，福佬人，or some people would call it like 學佬人啦。And then Tanka, 疍家人啦。So these four group of people, or the four major dialect group of people, so that is or we may say the four earliest groups of the people that settled in Hong Kong. So who are they and where, okay, did they come from? Okay, so you may refer to the next paragraph. Okay, that could be like this. Between the 10th and 7th century, the four major dialect groups, okay, please highlight this. They moved from the mainland to Hong Kong, okay, from different period, This is because Hong Kong was a suitable place for farming, fishing, salt making, and lime making, okay, as there will be some fat land in Hong Kong, such as like in Yunnan, so therefore that would be good for farming, as Hong Kong is the coastal area, so therefore that would be good for fishing and also salt making. And you may look at here, what is lime making? Lime making in Chinese, you may understand is lime as like, if I remember correct, that could be like 石灰啦，石灰啦。So what would be the use of 石灰, or how did people make the lime? Okay, so lime, you may mark, it could be used as like fertilizer, 一啲嘅肥料, so that would be used for farming, okay, use it as fertilizer. And how people make use to make lime, so that is they people make to burn the shell, okay, burn the shell in the clean to make lime. For example, you can have a look about these information, okay, notice. Okay, so that would be from 漁農自然護理署啦。So it mentioned like a 海下灣啦。海下灣 actually there is a monument that is about the clean, okay, the cleaned, like here, that is to make the lime, okay, 一個嘅石灰窯嘅。Okay, so people trying to use the bones of the coral reef and also the oyster shell, okay, to make the lime in order to use them as the fertilizer. So therefore that would be about some story. Okay, so in Hong Kong there would be suitable, okay, for the lime making. And also we may say the people from the mainland China, actually they need to feed from the wars, okay, and famines on the mainland, especially here. Especially, you may mark that is during the Song and Qin Dynasty. Especially during the Song and Qin Dynasty. Okay, so therefore, so those four major dialect groups, okay, so they would move to Hong Kong and settled in Hong Kong, and they have their own dialect, custom, and also means to make a living. So therefore, what are those different living style? let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. So on the next page, okay, you can see like that would be the four interview. But I'm not going to read all this information with you one by one. So I will just talk about some major characteristics. So you can see that first, like the Punty, okay, Punty. So where does the Punty settle? That is mainly north, in the north of Hong Kong or in the New Territories. Why? It is because this area, especially these two, okay, this is Yuen Long and this is Shang Shui and Fan Ling. Okay, so why the Punty settled in these two places? It is because the Punty were the first dialect group that settled in Hong Kong. So therefore, they would search for the best place in Hong Kong for their living. Why in the north that would be the best place? It is because these two places they are the major fat land in Hong Kong. Okay, so therefore that would be good for farming. So therefore they settled here first, and then later, so the Hakka people, okay, the Hakka people came to Hong Kong. So where do they settle? Like in Tai Po here, and also in Chim Rent. So all this that is not the major fat land, okay, like in Hong Kong. It could be about some hillside, okay. So that is where the Hakka people settled. And then later for the Folklore and also Tanka, okay, you can also see, okay, so the Hakka, they also settle in the Hong Kong Island. And then for the Tanka and Folklore, okay, so they settle in the Hong Kong Island, in the Kowloon Peninsula as well, okay. So that could be explained by their living, okay. So why? It is because, okay, if you look at the table at the bottom, you can see that first for Punty, so they arrived at Hong Kong at the earliest time. Okay, so at about like the 10th century. So where did they come from? They come from Guangdong, 廣東一帶啦。And they spoke Cantonese. 佢哋講廣東話㗎啦。And just now I said they settled in the Yuen Long, in Shangshui, and in also Fanling. Okay, how they make a living? Of course, that would be like farming. It is because the best farmland in Hong Kong that would be in the north in Yuen Long, okay, and also Shangshui. So therefore, that is about their living. Then the second one for the Hakka, so they come to Hong Kong a little bit late, okay, so at about like 17th century, and you should know that their origins, okay, their family actually that is not in Hong Kong, that could be like in Shandong, Shandong lah. So that is a little bit far away from Hong Kong, and what they spoke that could be like Hakka dialect, okay, 佢哋講客家話啦。So I believe some of you, okay, your family, okay, especially like your grandmother, your grandfather, okay, some of them they may even speak like Hakka in the family. So I know some students actually they also knew how to they understand the Hakka, but right now, okay, just few students they can speak like Hakka. Okay, so how did the Hakka make the living? Okay, they also farm. Okay, and then for the Folklore and Tanka, so they come a little bit late to Hong Kong. Okay, so of course compared to Punty, for the Folklore that is at about like the 11th century, and for Tanka we will say even unknown. Why? It is because for Folklore and Tanka we may we may call them, they are the boat people. For Folklore and Tanka, we may call them like 佢哋福佬人、學佬人啦，或者疍家人啦，佢哋都係一啲嘅水上人嚟嘅。Okay, for Folklore and Tanka, so the major activities they carry out for their living that would be from fishing。佢哋都係以捕魚為生，佢哋係一啲水上人嚟嘅。But what would be the difference between Tanka and Footloose? Okay, so I would say this, like for Tanka, 疍家人啦，疍家人 mainly they would live on the boat， 疍家人喺船上嗰度住。However, for Footloose, okay, some of the Footloose they live on the boat, but some of the Footloose so they live on the land in the coastal area。學佬人、福佬人，佢哋會有一啲喺船上面嗰度住，但係亦都會有一啲嘅福佬、學佬咧，佢哋會係上岸去到住嘅，佢哋未必會喺船上面嗰度住。佢哋要出海嘅時候咧，佢哋先至會坐船出海嘅啫。So therefore, that could be the major difference, okay, about their living style. And then for other differences, what could be the difference between folklore and tankers? Okay, so folklores actually they come from Guangdong, Jiangxi,江西啦，and also Fujian。福佬人嚟自廣東啦、江西啦，同埋福建。And tankers they are from Guangdong and Fujian。疍家人一樣啦，都係廣東同埋福建話福建。And therefore, what would be the dialect? Okay, they spoke for folklore. They spoke Fujianese， 佢哋講福建話嘅。福佬人、學佬人講福建話。And then for tankers, they spoke Cantonese and also Fujianese as okay, part of them that is from the Guangdong and part of them they will be from Fujian. So therefore, okay, so they would both spoke Cantonese and also Fujianese. So therefore, that would be like the four major dialect groups in Hong Kong. Okay, so therefore, I expect some of you, if you ask your parents, okay, whether do you know whether do you belongs to like Punty, Hakka, Folklore or Tankers? Okay, I believe some student actually you may find that you may belong to one group. You may belong to either one group, or especially like Hakka, okay, Hakka people. Or for Tanka or Folklore, you may not know easily, okay? But like for the case of Mr. Liu, I may tell you, actually, Mr. Liu, I'm a Punty, okay? I'm Punty. Mr. Liu 係本地人嚟嘅 okay? Why? It is because my family actually settled in Hong Kong, that is few hundred years ago. So that is exactly, okay? So what we mentioned in in the teaching, okay, like the Punty about when they settled like in Hong Kong, that is about the 10th century. So I may tell you, okay, so like my ancestor actually settled in Hong Kong since the Song and Qin Dynasty. Okay, so therefore I belong to Punty. And then later we will talk about the 5 great clans in the new territories, and also the life in the War village. Okay, so therefore I don't think I can continue the 5 great clan today. Okay, so therefore I'll stop here first. Okay, so we have learned like the history of Hong Kong from the Qin Dynasty to the early Qin Dynasty, and also that is very important. So we have learned the 4 major dialect groups. Okay, so later I will put more reference about like the difference between the 4 major dialect groups. Okay, on Google Classroom. So if you have any questions, okay, so you may email me, okay, you may email me or you may ask, okay, in the video. So I will answer it as soon as possible. So therefore, for the traditional rural life of Hong Kong part 2, okay, so I'll stop here. I'll stop here. So please pay attention to the Google Classroom, and I will tell you when will be the next lesson. For the next lesson, it may be the centralized timetable, okay? So you may refer to the announcement from the school. Okay, so therefore, for today, I will stop right now. Okay, so I'll see you in the next week. Okay, goodbye.